everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Timeless Table. We're broadcasting live from here. I'd like to give everybody, first of all, an update of the current situation. I know we're going through a lot. The main thing we could do right now is to stay calm, and with God's help, we will deal with it together. First of all, let's do some facts. Let's talk about some facts. We'll talk about some rumors and talk about, what we're doing as a community and what our elected officials are doing for us to deal with this. First of all, this afternoon, as far as cases, is 3,615 confirmed cases of coronavirus, 22 fatalities. There's 1,030 confirmed cases in Brooklyn. That's a pretty big spike. 554 cases are currently in the hospital. 169 are in ICU. This is not a time to point fingers. This is something that nobody was ever able to fathom, the magnitude of it. The question is now, what can we do to basically flatten the curve? If we get to a point where the numbers really get really high, our hospitals will not be able to deal with it. If everybody comes in at one shot, the hospitals cannot deal with that. So the question is what we could do. First of all, everybody must self-isolate. I know the city's been putting out 50 people or less. Don't worry about those guidelines. The main thing is we have to do what's right for us, and what's smart is to self-isolate and not go out unless it's extremely urgent or there's a necessity. I know there's a lot of stores that are doing now online orders, which is fantastic. A lot of people are actually asking stores if they could do only online, because I've seen stores are getting crowded, and that's bad too, because the problem with this illness is it takes about 14 days until the symptoms come out, and we do not know who has it, who doesn't have it, and we are literally putting ourselves at risk and other people at risk by going out. Number two, we need to watch our elders. I know we're concerned, we want to check up on them, we all mean well, but the issue is if somebody has it and they don't know and we give it to our elders, the statistics are really bad if elders have it. I was just checking the news before I came on. I saw in Fort Lauderdale there's been nursing homes that had it and it's spreading, and we cannot make that mistake. We need to be smart, we need to do what's right, and we need to be careful. I wanted to speak about a few things that we're doing in the community. First of all, Councilman Chaim Deutsch has been working around the clock, literally not sleeping, looking out for the community to see what we could do to alleviate the financial stress on people and the safety. First of all, he was the main push to the mayor to make sure to suspend alternate side parking. We don't want people leaving the houses, and that was a very big strain on people. Number two, Councilman Chaim Deutsch is working with Councilman Yeager on water bills to suspend payments of water bills. First of all, we're using a lot of water, just the fact that we're home all day. We're using a lot of water. Number two, by washing our hands very often, that's also adding to the water bill as well. Number three, plastic bags. He's trying to get that suspended as well for the time being. That special plastic bag ban. We're trying to get that revoked for the time being. He's working on that. And number three, the councilman is working now on additional petitions to petition the state if we could suspend, different types of taxes that we have on businesses. That is a big burden, and various other issues as well. If anyone has any questions, I'll gladly be taking questions now, or any concerns. As far as charities in the community, we just opened up a fantastic charity with Rabbi David Masselton, Joe Mansour, Michael Cohen, and myself, basically helping families. A lot of families are suffering. They've been losing their jobs. The kids are home. The kids are nervous. A lot of people don't have money to put food on the table, and we are there to help. Okay. Number two, there's another great organization. I'll be posting it shortly. If an elderly person or anybody needs help with shopping, they are willing to go out and they're willing to shop and help them and bring it free of charge, just as a chesed organization. We've also had other organizations out there, including Masbia. If somebody is affected by being quarantined because they have the coronavirus, There's a website as well that I'll put it on. They will be sending food as well. That's a great resource for us. Our fund is called the Community Assistance Fund. You could go on our website, communityaf.com, to donate. It's 100% volunteers. 100% of the money goes to people in our community that are in need and that are struggling at this current time. Again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask, and we will bring them up. Again, another thing is we can rely on data. I just got word, Italy now just surpassed China in fatalities, which is really unbelievable. And the reason is because people were not listening to stay home and to self-isolate. The more we're out there, the more we put ourselves at risk. And the key is really to stay home. The governor announced today that 75% of workforces, of the people at work, need to work from home. He reduced that substantially. The time being, I know people were saying, what's going to be? Is the city going to be completely shut down? Is it going into a mandatory quarantine? And the answer is no. The governor is the only one that could authorize that. And he mentioned this morning that those rumors are false. We're not locking anybody else up in the houses. He wants people just to heed to the rule, to stay home. As if there was, God forbid, an active shooter and they tell everybody stand down, stay where you are. Same type of thing. For their own benefit, and will stay home. Somebody just posted a question. Do you think they're going to close subways and buses? Time being, they're not doing it. And the governor mentioned for the time being they don't have a plan to do it. I mean, as far as my opinion, I've seen the subways and the buses. They're quite empty. And the biggest problem is when you have these large crowds, that's the real issue, and they've been quite empty right now. So I don't think they are going to shut it. Another interesting point, the President Trump, which I think is doing a fantastic job helping us, he brought up an interesting development today. The FDA approved 2 new drugs. They're actually not 2 new drugs. One of them is for malaria. They're both antiviral drugs. There's another antiviral drug that seems to be working very well. He fast-tracked it with the FDA to approve it, and they will give it on a case-by-case basis as needed. And that's basically it. Any more questions? I am here. Please ask. Another thing, too, I notice is another big issue, especially for the elderly. Even though the stores are open, okay, as time goes on, the more and more people, that go to the stores, I feel I'll be more susceptible to catching it because, more people are going to have it. If you are currently on any medications, make sure that you get a few months' supply of those medications. Make sure you're fully stocked. Try to make sure you have, you have what you need now, because we don't want people going out. In Brooklyn, make no mistake, everywhere it's spreading like wildfire. People could look like they have 0 symptoms, and they've been showing to have it and been spreading it to people. It's a very silent, scary virus that we really doctors don't understand it, and they don't understand really how it works, but it's extremely, extremely contagious. Even sitting in the air, they say for 3 hours, it could spread that way. Again, any questions, please feel free to ask. How long do we stay home for? Somebody just asked. They say right now, minimum of 14 days. Let's see where it is. We might be surprised and see that in 2 weeks the numbers jumped up like crazy because, till people get tested, a lot of people aren't tested yet, so we don't know the exact numbers. So the professionals are saying stay home for at least 14 days. God willing, the numbers go down, but let's see what happens. And I feel the state is also making a lot of decisions being based on where, the numbers are now. Somebody's asking, I've been having so much anxiety, how do we deal with it? There are organizations, and the city as well has special hotlines for dealing with this anxiety, and I will be posting it shortly, on Abalbyyou, of the numbers that we could call. I just want to give a few financial updates that were very important, for us that own homes or have credit cards and stuff like that. The governor announced this morning that he will be doing a 90-day mortgage relief. A 90-day mortgage relief means that, not that you don't owe the money, but for the 90 days, you could basically defer it, and they won't come after you for it, and it won't affect your credit score as well, which is huge. There won't be any late fees on credit cards, there won't be any foreclosures, and there won't be any late fees on ATMs, or actually on credit cards, and they'll be waiving ATM fees as well to deal with this crisis, which I think was very proactive of the governor to come out and make sure that we're taking care of that. And as far as somebody asks if my mortgage company calls, I doubt you'll be getting a call from your mortgage company, because the governor was in touch with the mortgage companies regarding this, and utilities to work with the people. So just to take off the strain. I know a lot of people are out of jobs now, or if people are store owners, business is extremely slow or non-occurring as well. Any other questions? All right. I wish let everybody stay safe. If anyone has, somebody just asked, what happens in 14 days if it slows down and it gets back to normal? I guess let's wait for our professionals to see what they say. Let's see if a vaccine comes out, sooner. There's a lot of moving variables there. I know another point to free up the hospitals. The governor was dealing with President Trump, and the U.S. Navy is bringing in a massive hospital ship called USS Comfort. It's going to be parked in Manhattan. It's going to have 1,000 beds. Those beds will not be used for the coronavirus victims. They're going to be used for general medical issues that New Yorkers have, and they will have specific hospitals for the coronavirus so it doesn't spread to people that don't have it and that are healthy. Okay, I'm wishing everybody all the best, and try to think sensibly, stay safe out there. I'll be posting a lot of different resources that we have for our community, for people that need help. We're here for you. We're behind you. You could go to my website, www.communityaf.com. We'll be helping out as many community members as we can, and I'll be putting out additional info as it comes available. Thank you all. Be safe.